So, problems that occurred to me during my Scratch project. I split them into three: practical, technical, theoretical. So I'm going to start with practical for number one. Practical was my staging. So for staging, we had, I was thinking a bench at first, and then I was like, well, I'm going to struggle to find benches because people are going to be watching, people are going to be using them. So I decided eventually to use 2 chairs. That still didn't go to plan on my performance day. I ended up using a chair and a block, which I think was actually better, because then it's like, this is a chair for the main person, this is a block for the audience members participating. So I think that kind of worked. So yeah, I think overall that challenge was solved pretty easily by just substituting it with something else, and then like it ended up being better anyway, so I'm kind of glad for that. Another challenge, I'm not sure if this is technical or theoretical, but I'm going to put it, I meant practical or theoretical, but I'm going to put it onto practical because it is to do with my lighting and my staging. So one of the first year students in acting, one of the first year acting students has I think it's photosensitive they call it, epilepsy to flashing lights and things. So I was like, I'm not sure how my lighting panels, I wasn't sure how the lighting was going to work with mine, and it was actually Hannah who told me about about her epilepsy, because I wasn't 100% sure. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna have to go with it. So I had to check for accommodations and things, and thankfully no accommodations were needed, so that was solved before it even became a problem. And then for technical problems, my essay, my presentation, my script would not save. Everything has been done a minimum of twice because they just would not save. My essay's been done my presentation's been done 4 times, my essay's been done twice, and my script's been done about 3 or 4 times. Like, nothing would save, so I've just had to take everything from memory and put it onto a piece of paper or take photos. I've literally, when I redid my presentation last time, I had to take 20 photos, 1 of each slide, so I knew what was coming next and what I needed to do. So it was all technical saving data. My OneDrive would not work for the life of me, so I do work at college, I'd save it to my OneDrive, I would try and access it at home, and half of it would be gone. So that was a technical problem that I overcame, but I overcame that just by making notes of what I'd already done and taking photos of stuff that I'd already done on my phone to then refer back to when I had to redo it at some point. But thankfully everything has saved, and I also got over that problem because I just resaved everything under a different name to my OneDrive. So I saved it to my OneDrive directly instead of copying it from my documents, and then I just saved it under a different name. So I have like Petra Kuchar 1, 2, 3 and 4 in my OneDrive, and 4 is my most recent one. So that is pretty much all my technical problems. I didn't really have any other technical problems unless you can count the lighting issue as one, but I count it as more practical because it was to do with my staging and everything. Theoretical, again, lighting could be under that if you wanted it to. And theoretically, I'm putting this under theoretical. Because I was looking at the hidden meanings of everything. But costume was a theoretical problem for me, because I was like, well, how am I going to do it? How am I going to portray myself as someone who's ill, who's sick, who's trying to tell this story about a life where she's been in and out of hospital so many times before she can count? And that's and I just overcame that by very simply putting myself in theatre blacks, all black outfit, because I was like, you know what, scratches are meant to be unfinished, so what might be unfinished is my set or my staging or my costume. So costume was unfinished for my project to make it look more like a Scratch aspect, basically. But yeah, I don't think I really experienced many other issues apart from that. Influences were easy to find with the help of my workshops, which I had early into the project. It was like day 2 of the project I got my first influence, because I already knew what I wanted to do when we first found out about the project months before. So I already knew what I wanted to do. But then they were like, oh, you need influences to be able to do it and back up your points. I was thinking, oh, what am I going to do for an influence? And then here comes Jodie Comer in a dress workshop, and I was like, I've got it. So yeah, no, that wasn't so much a problem. It was just I needed to dig a little deeper into what I actually needed. But yeah, and then I had to try and figure out audience participation in my piece. I don't know what this would go under, maybe practical, I'm not sure, but audience participation, I had too much of it. And another problem, I'm going to put this under theoretical, is I'm going to say theoretical. It's something to do with my script, so theory, writing, I'm going to put it under there. And that is that my script was 13 pages long for a Scratch event. way too long. So yeah, that happened, and it shouldn't have, so I just had to make it a little bit smaller. It was easy enough to do, and I just kept getting my college tutors to read it and reread it and see what it looked like, and yeah, they really liked it, and they were like, okay, you can stop there. And stopping there was the Friday before the performance. So then I was like, how am I going to learn my script in time? So I decided very quickly, make a prop. So I made a little medical records prop, stuck everything onto my display file. It has literally every single script in here that I've ever done. So there's like Fleabag and Bridgerton and EastEnders and all of that. And just to make it look more full, I wasn't taking them all out just to put one set of script in. So I put the script towards the end, and I just had to find it before I went on stage and just put my thumb in the way, so then I could just flip it open and it's already there. So I'm not looking for it and wasting time. But yeah, I think that's all the problems I actually came across and how I faced all of them and how I overcame them. So yeah, that is my problem solving for my Scratch project. I think that's everything.